Welcome back to a brand new episode of 343. This is episode 65. Yo, we are soldiering on over here. But yeah, as usual, I am joined by my trusted co-host Jason Ronnie. How you doing, my man?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. Was a bit of a nervy time yesterday, but we've overcome it. So yeah, looking forward to more nervy times coming up.
Yeah, no, it was a bit nervy from an Arsenal point of view, but we'll get into that in a bit. Yeah, we also welcome back Mubeen. Yeah, this
How's it,
guy
guys? Yeah,
showing up in like
yeah.
great cameos this season.
Been a
Mm,
minute. Yeah, it's my second stoppage time substitution entrance for the season.
Yeah, for our viewers here, Mubeen has a bit of a delay on his side, a bit of a lag, so excuse us for that. But no matter what, it's always quality over anything else, and we know that Mubeen always brings some great insight to it. But yeah, Mubeen, how have you been doing, man? The past couple of months, you sad over weekends when United play, but then you get your mojo back during the week. How's it going?
Yeah, basically that in a nutshell. Has it been great football wise? Um, for obvious reasons. But I think I've learned to just to accept it, let it go. It's there's nothing we can do from this side of the world. So like we're in control of the club and decisions and so forth. It's highly frustrating and yeah, it's not nice to experience as a fan. I sort of link it to what the Liverpool fans probably experienced 20 years ago plus, sort of until the last 6 or 7 seasons ago when they started competing. But yeah, I
I
suppose
I,
it's,
I
it's a
don't think
write-off,
it's
so we
I,
gotta
I don't
wait and
think the
see.
Liverpool experiences were as bad as this, though. To be honest, like they had their bad moments, they had their bad seasons and stuff like that. But I don't
it was
think it.
bad,
It
yeah, yeah, but
but
not leaking roof bad.
yeah,
Yeah,
Everything else bad.
yeah,
yeah. But
gosh, yeah, I don't know.
let's let's just go into yesterday's match quickly before we do our previews. Um, yeah, Jason, let's start with you. Going into that match, obviously it was a must win for an Arsenal fan, for the Arsenal team. Um, how were you feeling going into it? And um, Arsenal didn't look their best during the entirety of those 90 minutes. So from a fan watching that, what was going through your mind? How how do you think that result actually panned out in the end?
Yeah, no, I think maybe the nerves got to them again, and I think as an Arsenal fan, you're waiting for when it's gonna happen because we've had this situation a few times, maybe not in this exact sequence of events, but I think when we needed to win, we obviously hadn't, and we can refer back to as recent as that weekend Liverpool dropped points and we just had to beat Villa, and suddenly the team came out good first half, bad second half. So the first few minutes, you see United do. I saw somewhere online that this is tenhag's final after what happened in the first round game or with that offside. I think he's harboring that offside decision, and every night there's just a picture of that offside, and he just mentally prepared. And I think it's similar to what Arteta did when Ivan Toney said he had a nice kickabout with the boys in that all or nothing documentary. Yeah, it was very nervy. Even once we had taken the lead, and I have to thank our trusty centre back Casemiro there for that. But even after that, I think we were very sloppy, and I think the nerves. It almost felt like we were playing and waiting for that. When are we going to concede moment? And okay, thankfully it didn't come. I was very happy to hear that final whistle because it was a very shaky performance, but happy to have got the 3 points. Going into the game, I was a bit nervous. I was thinking, okay, what happens? Because I mean, I think the form goes out of this window when you have these sort of games, all of the bigger games, and then you see the team that Man U line up with, and it's like, okay, no, we have to win, but then the first 20 minutes don't reflect us wanting to win it as much as Man United just being ready to compete. And then it's like, yo, it's going to be one of those games. And okay, luckily we score, and then yeah, we were just riding our luck, and it was very unconvincing, especially with what we've had in recent times. Where I think this year, since the turn of the year, we've been absolutely faultless. Obviously, barring that Villa game, and then you see that performance, and you're like, yo, kind of puts a little bit of a damper on the whole season, or not the whole season, but rather the last few performances. But happy to have got the 3 points.
Yeah, no. Mubeen, like just from a United point of view, it's not like they didn't create chances in that match yesterday. They were peppering that left wing with Garnacho making his runs, and he made so many good runs. But I guess that's where the experience comes in. He was selfish so often where he could be squaring the ball to Hoyland, he could be looking up. I don't think he looked up once. He kept on like just making those runs, going for the near post shots. But I guess that's gonna come in years to come. He learns to look up, look for a pass. But yeah, just from your point of view, like where were United lacking in the game yesterday? I mean, coming off the back of that 4-0 drubbing from Crystal Palace, the team looked more compact in their layout and in their setup yesterday. So yeah, I'd like to know from your point of view what the pros were from yesterday, if there were any, and yeah.
Yeah, look, I think in a way they sort of showed up yesterday, considering the drubbing we got against Palace, and considering the last couple of performances before the Palace game. I don't think the performance was all that bad. And Casemiro's incident's obviously isolated. I think it's just the laziness from his side in moving out, because essentially he played. I can't remember who it was on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Havertz. He played Havertz on side, who then obviously played the ball through into Trossard. But I mean, obviously, like I said, that's an isolated incident out of the game. Look, there were chances, and I think it's probably the thing we battle with for most of the season is converting chances. I think going forward as a unit, United probably are one of the better threats going forward on a counter attack in the league. But that final third is where we lacked basically for most of the season. We just can't convert those attacks and counter attacks into a goal. And look, obviously Garnacho, he's been a shining light for us this season in a very dismal season. I think maybe he's taking it upon himself. We're not scoring. He's part of the front three. Rashford has been out this last few games. Maybe he's thought, you know what, I'm the senior guy up front. I've got to convert chances. But that also being said, that is our problem. I read a stat in last week. I can't remember the whole of it, but it basically the gist of it was the amount of times we played balls into Hoyland is practically non-existent.
Yeah.
Compared to, again, if you look at the other top 6 clubs, where they play the ball into their striker or the 9. Hoyland, he literally works, passes the ball, lays the ball off. Very seldom does he get it back in the box to finish a chance. He's been feeding off scraps for most of the season, and that's something we've got to work on going forward. Is that when our wingers, sort of get the ball and there's space to be had, is that they've got to include him in the attack. I think if we get that right, then part of our problem up front is solved, because he's a natural goal scorer. I mean, we've seen it with the goals that he scored, and I think He's got about 12 for the season, thereabout, just from feeding of scraps.
Yeah,
So if we can feed him the ball, give him a decent ball in a goal scoring position, there's no doubt he's going to finish.
yeah.
But yeah, look, I don't think the performance was all that bad yesterday. Like I said, I mean, the Casemiro incident's obviously isolated. There's obviously a problem there. Um, and I think Arsenal had every right to be nervy. History was obviously against him. I think they only won the last one in 16 against United. So, and they knew they had to win yesterday. I mean, they didn't get the 3 points, then the league's over for them. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm as a United supporter. Although Arsenal is an old foe, I'm deep down rooting that that Spurs can do something on Thursday.
I think we all are. I think we all are.
Yeah,
But just to go back to that Hoyland thing, I read a stat today that um, United have only created 8 chances for Hoyland in their last 6 games, which is crazy. Like eight chances in 6 games for your man up front is absolutely mental. Like I can't comprehend like how bad that is. And I mean yesterday, like Garnacho had all the chances to slide him in multiple times. But yeah, like I think in the off season a lot of those need to be looked at, and like they need to take action on it, because I mean creativity, that's like we need to work on everything in the middle of the park. We need to show that we are going to take care of our front three. And the one person who's impressed me the most this entire season, who I think is my player of the season at United, is Diogo Dalot. And I mean, he makes those runs to become like that inverted fullback. And when he loses the ball, he tracks back immediately because he's that quick to do it. And because of that, we're so lopsided, because on the other side you have Wan Bissaka, who is extremely limited. He doesn't make those runs forward, and whoever is playing on the wing with him, they feel the brunt as well. Like yesterday, Ahmad was sharing that flank with him, and he was waiting for Wan Bissaka to make those overlapping runs so often, but then he wasn't, and then Ahmad would have to come back out and then just recycle the ball, and then they have to start from scratch again. So hopefully, like when all the fullbacks come back and all of those get looked at, we will be able to start looking a bit more fluid. But yeah, I mean, they made the best with the players and the options that were offered to them yesterday. And I don't, like you said, I don't think it was a bad performance. Um, Arsenal were nervy, and we tried to take advantage of that. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, 3 points to Arsenal. The league is still very much alive, and all eyes are on tomorrow night. And that's a very good segue to lead into that preview. So yeah, Spurs versus Man City. I mean, it's going to be huge. Like tonight is Aston Villa versus Liverpool. So if Liverpool win that game, then Spurs literally have everything to play for tomorrow night. They have no excuses. A win tomorrow night would put them in the top four. Um, and I don't know if you guys watched Ange's press conference today, but he just wasn't having any of this Spurs talk of throwing the match and letting City win so that Arsenal don't win a title. He's like, if we want to be a big team, these are the type of matches we need to be winning. So I like that mentality from him. It's not just the fact that like I'm going to let City win this game so that Arsenal don't get a title. Like, no, he wants to win. He wants to give 110%. Even if they come up short, he knows that these players are going to go all out. So, Jason, how do you see this game going tomorrow night?
Hopefully in Spurs' favour, and you can clip that because I'll never ever say that again. It's an interesting one because we consume such a lot of social media, and everybody, all the Spurs fans, they're saying they'd gladly lay it down and then let Spurs or let City just walk over them and win the league, or almost guarantee it. But yeah, at the end of the day, these are professional footballers. They're paid to perform. And I mean, like you say, and we had mentioned this before, there are loads of little intricacies that are adding into this top four race and into the European spot race and all those things. So if Liverpool have also picked up a bit of steam recently, if they're able to do something over Villa, Spurs win that, then besides the race for the league, we've got the race for the top four. And I think after Chelsea won, they could possibly clinch Europe, which I don't think anybody pegged them at all. And then we've also got the relegation fight where I think we still could have somebody else slip into that. I think if I'm not mistaken. So it could go down to the wire. It could be something of a counter.
It's very slim though.
Very slim, yeah. But
Yeah.
also the likelihood of Spurs winning tomorrow is very slim. But I'm going to cling on to that. And as an Arsenal fan, I know about this hope thing. So a part of me has almost resigned myself to thinking, okay, Spurs are going to be Spurs and they're not going to do anything. But also in recent history, they've shown that they step up in the bigger games. I think back to the game against Liverpool this season, and it was maybe shrouded in a bit of dubious decisions. But then also the game against City, where they came back almost, I think it was the last kick of the game, Kulusevski equalized them. So their recent history isn't the worst against City, so I'm going to hold on to that. And I think City, we've spoken about how clinical they become from like Feb on, but they've been in this groove since December, so they've been near perfect since December. So I don't think they're going to come and then let the hysteria that's surrounding this game and this week and going to the final game week affect them at all. I think they'll just do what they need to do, and I think they saw it now this past week. And I think Fulham started the game very well, had a chance or two, and then suddenly Guardiola scores, and then Fulham, all the things just sucked out of them, and then it's luck and just business as usual. So yeah, quietly hoping that Spurs can do something, but if I'm not sure if being a realist is what I should call it, but yeah, I'm just thinking that I think City will just be too strong just because of history and what's on the line for them as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting words coming from an Arsenal fan. I don't know if you saw the clip of Paul Merson saying that he'll get a Spurs tattoo if Spurs get, even if they get a draw tomorrow, he's getting that tattoo. So I think a lot of people are hoping for that as well. So they can see the guy actually follow through on that. But yeah,
I don't know if Spurs, sorry, just before you go, I don't know if Spurs have ever had this many people supporting them, because it's not only Arsenal fans. I think it's a lot of fans that want to see, I'm not going to say the downfall of Man City, but just a change.
I think it's more just a break in the chain.
Exactly that. And I think people are also now, with all of the charges that have been lodged against Everton and Notts, and you feel for maybe Liverpool, maybe a little, maybe not so much you as Man United fans, but I mean, Arsenal haven't been in this run now for 2 seasons and going against these guys, and it's like, this is a near perfect season. This is Arsenal's best season with the most number of wins we've ever had in a season. It's been a steady increase, and we still can't win it. Like, when you think back to the times where Fergie used to win it with like 80 points, maybe like 78, maybe 83, 84, you now need to go into the 90s to beat Pep. You need to go into... So it's like, yeah, I think Spurs are going to have a lot of backing. Whether they might just fall under all of this, suddenly a lot of people watching them. I'm hoping not, but fingers crossed, man. There's always a chance.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some sort of like TV record happening tomorrow night with everybody's eyes on that game. Mubeen, how do you think the game is going to pan out tomorrow? Do you think Spurs has it in them? Do you think there's going to be somebody in that Spurs team that will take the game to City?
Yeah, I definitely think Spurs has it in them. I think Jason alluded to it earlier. In the recent past, Spurs has been Man City's bogey team.
Yeah.
For some reason, Spurs are always turning up against him. So, I'm always optimistic. I'm an optimist, and I'm also clinging onto that hope that Spurs can pull off a result or a draw. And I think it's going to be an entertaining game. I think it's going to be an open game as well. I don't think City is going to sit back and sort of let Spurs dictate the tempo. I think they're going to want to go out there and get the upper hand over Spurs and dictate the tempo their way. And they're not going to want to leave it late in the game. I think they want to seal it early and because funny things happen with nerves. Once you start getting nervy, we know silly mistakes, a goal goes in, and so I think Son is a guy to look out for always. Highly experienced, clinical up front. Obviously, sort of the talisman in that front three for Spurs. And then obviously Kulusevski of recent also can make something happen. But the Spurs defense is where it's going to have to be solid. I mean, they're obviously up against Haaland and co. So I think that section of the game is going to be something to look out for. If they can keep it tight there, then we're going to have a game on our hands. So yeah, I'm thinking Spurs might edge it to 1. Hopefully, that's my prediction. I'm throwing the prediction there as well.
Sure. What a guy. Hey, what about you, bro? You've obviously asked us. What are your thoughts on the game?
Look, I think that Spurs on their day can beat any team. They are like if they are up for it, if they are mentally up for it, then they'll be able to get the dub over any team. And I think the result tonight, the Aston Villa versus Liverpool, is going to be a huge deciding factor of what type of Spurs team goes out there tomorrow night. So I think if Liverpool get the 3 points tonight and Spurs can feel this top 4 within their grasp, I think that throws out any sort of decision in their heads about about losing the match on purpose so that Arsenal don't win the title. I think there's enough in it for them to play for that top 4, to get Champions League next season, to get that cash injection, just like thinking about the bigger picture. And I think that is what Ange is going to be thinking about. He's thinking bigger picture. He's thinking about what is best for this club. How do I move this club forward? And he's going to rally his troops in the best way that he can. And we've seen him do it so often this season that he just he instills this sort of fighting mentality. And we've seen it so often this season where we think Spurs are down and out. And then at the end of the game, they have this hunger to find something out of nowhere. And they did it against Burnley this weekend as well, with that Mickey van der Ven goal at the end. James Maddison hasn't looked the best since he came back into the team. His passes has been off course, and he just hasn't looked the same type of player. But in that sort of build-up for Van der Ven's goal, he looked like he was getting back to where he needs to be. And if that James Maddison pitches up tomorrow night, that can be something for City to worry about. Mubeen mentioned Son being the talisman, but Maddison can be just as good. Rodrigo Bentancur, just as good. Just like if all of those players are in unison and operating so well within each other, then I think that they can definitely get the 3 points. Or even if they want to play for a draw, but I don't think that they're going to want to. I think that they have it within them to get the 3 points. But on the other end of the spectrum, you have Haaland that scored 4 goals last week, and you have Foden, who's in the form of his life. You have Kevin De Bruyne, who can do unworldly things. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great game, but I'm hoping for a Spurs win, like everybody else is. But yeah, that's my 5 cents, my 2 cents. And we can just do quick predictions. Mubeen, you said 2-1 Spurs.
Yeah, I did say 2-1, and if I can just add quickly, I think if Liverpool do get a result tonight, I think Spurs would want to obviously win the game. obviously to keep the top four hopes and European football hopes alive, but also, like you said, with a greater picture. I think if they win the game, they also signal the intent, for next season, where by saying, listen, we are here to win the big boys, we are here to compete for top four, for the league, maybe even. Don't just look at us as the
Yeah.
Spurs of the past, where they were top 8 club. I think by them getting the result tomorrow in a pressure situation for them, and a pressure situation for City as well, because one, European football for the Spurs, and the title possibly for City. By them winning and getting the 3 points, they're sending out a massive statement to the big clubs and saying, listen, we can compete with you toe to toe. My prediction was 2-1. I'm going to stick with 2-1. I think it's going to be a highly entertaining game.
Nice. Jason?
Yeah, let's change my tune a bit. Let's go with a Spurs win. Never thought I'd ever say that, and I never thought I'd ever silently be rooting for them, the Spuds of North London. But yeah, I think crazier things have happened. So it's not completely out of this world to expect something of this nature. And yeah, I'm not going to go as far as getting a Spurs tattoo. I have an uncle that supports Spurs, maybe I'll just buy him a coffee or something just to thank him for his continued support. But
Not one of those removable tattoos, those stickers.
Never. I'll never put any of that on my body. Maybe with a gun or something, then it's a very different story. Yeah, I think my prediction is going to be, I'm going to go 2-1 as well to Spurs.
I think I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw, and I think that still plays into Arsenal's favor. But yeah, I think it's going to be entertaining, but I'm going to go with a draw. But yeah, moving over to Wednesday night, we have United versus Newcastle in another match that's also for a European position, but a bit lower down, Europa League, Conference League, essentially. That's what United are playing for these days. Mubeen, how do you think they are going to be tackling this game? I think Bruno Fernandes might be back. I think Lisandro Martinez might be back. So there are some first team players coming back into the mix. But yeah, do you think that changes anything at the end of it all? Do you think that we know that Newcastle dropped points over the weekend as well, so they're going to definitely want to win this. But United should be wanting to win the game, but you don't know what United pitches up on the day either. So yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's exactly that. You don't know what United pitches up with what mentality. It could be the United that pitched up on Sunday that's willing to give a fight, and we might just scrap a result. Or it could be United of the past 4 or 5 games where there's just no fight. There's no, they're not fighting for the badge, type of thing. So I don't know. It's very difficult to say. I've been very despondent watching the games of late. I know I said it's been annoying and frustrating, but it leads to despondency at the end of the game, especially when the results don't go United's way. But I'm hoping that they do rock up. Was some fight. Newcastle also been scrappy of late, inconsistent, winning, losing. So hopefully, I think Bruno will be back. I'm hoping Licha will be back. Obviously, not going to be as sharp as we would hope, but I think he also needs the game time because there is a cup final, at the end of the season. So he needs to get some game time under his belt because he's going to be key in that defense. We've had a makeshift defense now for a while. So I'm hoping that they come out with some fight. Maybe we'll scrap a 1-0 win, and somehow keep our European hopes alive, as
Yeah,
much as
I
I
mean,
doubt it. But
we have like Chelsea. Chelsea's playing like they've come up with a resurgence over the last like 3 or 4 game weeks. So they're very much in the picture, and if like results continue this way, they might end up taking that 6th spot, and then
Mm.
Newcastle 7, United 8. Um, so Jason, from your point of view, Newcastle, how do you think mentally they're going to be prepared for this game, knowing that Chelsea's in the form that they are as well? It's basically a 2.5 horse race, if you can put
Yeah.
it like that, for that Europa League spot. Yeah, Newcastle.
Yeah, I think that obviously they didn't perform the season as they did season before. They had Champions League, they bombed out there as well. They're looking at United and seeing this wounded animal. I think the front three of like who is it, Isak, Gordon, and maybe it's Harvey Barnes. They're probably licking their lips, knowing that there's gonna be some sort of a makeshift in that back line, because I don't think Martinez starts. If he does, I don't think, like we've been saying, the sharpness is not going to be there.
Yeah.
I think a guy like Bruno Guimaraes, he probably revels in the fact that this midfield of yours is so dysfunctional at the moment, and I think he enjoys chaos. So I think
Yeah.
they are definitely looking at it, and I think, all things considered, if suddenly you drop to Europa, it's not the worst thing for them, having played Champions League the season past. So they're 100%, they'll be geared up. If they win, and somehow Brighton, who've also been ridiculously inconsistent, if they do something, and then suddenly it's completely open again. And I think Europa, for the project that Newcastle are on, because they overachieved last season, I think it's a very good chance for them to sort of still be in a good trajectory on where they'd want to be. I think they're definitely going to turn up thinking that it should be an easier game than previous years. And I think it may be in that little bit of maybe their arrogance. And I'm not going to say that the whole team's arrogant. I think it's a window for United to possibly do something. It's been tough for guys like Garnacho. Garnacho's had to carry that front line because you experienced guys. Rashford hasn't done much really. It's tough for a guy like Mainoo to carry that midfield because Casemiro's been off, Bruno's been a bit inconsistent. You can't nail down your midfield three, and then for your defense, you're putting a lot of pressure on that. And then obviously Onana comes in, and I don't think his defense helped him much. I don't think he himself has helped himself. But yeah, I think in that game yesterday, there were more than enough chances and half chances. I think of the Hoyland one when he slips. I think of
Yeah.
Garnacho's one when he comes inside and he kills the ball into a row, something.
Yeah, he had all the space over there to even
Yeah.
take that ball a bit further
He
forward.
could have taken a bit
Yeah.
further. He could have hooked one like Kylian Mbappe likes, show the eyes for the far post, go to the near post. But yeah, I think there's definitely a chance. And it's not going to be many chances.
Yeah.
You obviously, I think Liverpool fans bemoan Darwin Núñez for all the things that he misses, but they spam him with chances. And I think give Hoyland a few of those chances, I think he most likely finishes it. So if there's some form of chance creation tomorrow, maybe even Martial must play if he's even back. Like, put him in there. That guy, for a swan song, he's got a crazy moment in him. Yeah. I think it's going to be a very open game on Wednesday night. I think Newcastle might play onto the fact that the defense is maybe a bit dysfunctional and a bit disjointed. But yeah, I don't think United should go into the game just ready to give it to Newcastle. I think they should be ready to pounce on the little chance that they maybe get.
Yeah, I think we had Willie Kambola come off the bench yesterday, so I think it will be Johnny Evans and Kambola starting in defense on Wednesday, and that would basically push Casemiro back up into midfield where he's more comfortable, and then bring Licha on for the last like half an hour or something like that, just to get him some game time. But yeah, I completely agree. I think that Newcastle front three they're going to be licking their lips, and I mean, whether it's Jacob Murphy on the one wing, Miguel Almiron, Harvey Barnes, those are all dangerous players that can cause United so much harm in the back at the back. So yeah, I'm not feeling optimistic whatsoever. Previous games, I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe we can like sneak a late victory or something like that. But I think Newcastle will want this much more, and I think in Eric Ten Hag's mind, he might be trying to put all his eggs in one basket with the FA Cup final, even though that is like extremely insane because there's no way this United team is going to be beating that City team in the FA Cup final. Not with the way that we're playing, not with the players that we currently have at our disposal. But yeah, if we are going to go down to predictions for Wednesday night, I think I'm going 3-1 Newcastle.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
Jason?
gonna stick with the 2-1 theme. I think I think it's gonna be a 2-1 Newcastle, to be honest.
Okay. Mubeen?
I've never, ever, ever gone against United ever, so I don't plan on changing that. I told you I'm always optimistic, and I always wear the badge on my heart on my sleeve. So I'm gonna say 2-1 United.
This guy, even if
Yeah,
the team is rock bottom, young, he still pulls through.
United,
we,
United,
What
yeah,
a
United.
guy!
I,
What
I
a
want to
guy!
say 1-0, but our defense has been pathetic. So we're bound to concede, but we're gonna win it 2-1.
That's like
Get
our
in.
defense is like the only reason why I'm thinking that we're shipping 3 goals. I
Yeah.
think there's way too many changes in this team now with Casemiro then going back up again. That changes the dynamic of our midfield. Then we have Kamwala coming in. We have Johnny Evans. Like I don't think that they played, or they might have played like a half of football together this season. There's been so like 33 different centre back pairings now. That was the latest stat that I read on BR Football. 33 different centre back pairings, and I think they played like a half together already. So, yeah, I don't think that there's much chemistry between them.
Yeah.
I think it could be a bleak night for United. I'm hoping that I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
like I mean,
Good
if past
psychology.
results or recent results are anything to go by, I don't think so. Yeah. Any final words before we move on to the final weekend preview? We'll just skim over
Yeah,
that.
just a little shout out Johnny Evans. I think in his contract they said, look, when it comes down to dire straits, we'll have to play you. And those dire straits came very quick.
Yeah.
And I think there was a large period of time where if it wasn't Maguire, it was Evans who was actually putting very consistent performances in. So
Yeah.
credit to him. I think he was just supposed to come there, get experience, coach towards his UEFA badges, and he's getting some real game time here. So yeah, shout out Johnny Evans.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure, for sure.
I don't think he would have, in his wildest imagination, thought that he would have played so many games.
Yeah,
It was 36, 37,
yeah.
37,
coming.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't
so
he in the team that last won the league with United? Right, he
might be
was
Yeah,
in what 2013. That's
2013, yeah.
'He
2013.
was
Yeah,
still a regular starter. Sure,
yeah.
it's actually crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, so final weekend. I think kickoff is 5 p.m. on Sunday. Uh, Judging on the results that's going to happen in the next two nights or so, we'll have an idea of where or like what position every team stands in. We spoke about the relegation fight earlier, and I think it has to be some crazy result. Like I think Luton has to win 6-0 and Forest has to
no,
lose 6-0 or some crazy thing like that.
four to be
Luton
different.
needed
Yeah,
Luton needed to at least get a draw over the weekend um, to give themselves a proper shout. But yeah, I think the bottom three are done. I don't think Forest loses 6-0 and Luton wins 6-0. So
yeah,
I think our relegation fight is done. Chelsea over the next, like I think Brighton, like you spoke about how inconsistent Brighton is. Um, that that can also go down to the final day. But I mean, Chelsea also. It's like there's been like this hot potato with the Europa League position between
Yeah,
Chelsea and Newcastle and United.
yeah.
It's like they don't want it, but I think over
Nobody
the
really
last couple
likes
of
it.
games, it showed that Chelsea looks like the team that would get it the most, right, Jason?
Yeah. Yeah, it just seems like they've kicked into this gear now, and I think it's probably because Enzo isn't playing, and I'm going to go back to that one.
Yeah,
They've showed their best form since their 100 mil signing hasn't been playing. So yeah, I think Chelsea's most likely going to take it, and I think it's going to plaster over a massively um, underperforming season. I know that sounds like it's a bit of a contradiction, but I think, yeah, I don't think we shamed them enough in the last few seasons for how poor they've been after spending so much money. So yeah, they're actually getting away with one if they do get six, and if they do get Europa, it's actually a bit sickening, to be honest.
yeah, no, for real. Mubeen, what have you been making of Chelsea lately? Is it down to luck? Is it like what is it like? They also had like tons of injuries, and I mean they were extremely poor when majority of their squad were injured. And this past weekend, I think a lot of them came back. Nkunku came back, and Reece James came back, and then he got an assist immediately. So, what has your take been of on Chelsea this like last 2 to 3 months or so, and the late resurgence coming into this final weekend?
Yeah, I think obviously they've been poor for basically most of the season up until the last couple of months. Um, but it takes a result sometimes just to get your wheels moving in a season. And I think it probably happened when they beat United.
Yeah,
Um, I think it was at the bridge.
Yeah,
And I think since that result, they started stringing results together. And I mean, we all know you string 3 or 4 results together, automatically it's 12 points, and you can leapfrog on a league with 9, 10, 12 points. But, this performance is also, it comes down to, for me, with Chelsea, it comes down to specific individuals, and most notably for me, Palmer, who I think had a brilliant season considering um, Chelsea's overall season. I think he's probably the third highest. I think the last stat I saw is the third highest goal scorer in the league.
yeah,
So a young lad coming who's trying to carve out a career and coming from a midfield position, scoring. I think it's something like 18 goals. I mean, most strikers don't even get that
he's
in a
on
season.
21 goals for the season,
21.
Premier
yeah,
League goals. Yeah.
Yeah, 21 Premier League goals. So, I mean, that's obviously it's part of the reason why they sort of have this resurgence now and where they are on the log, considering where they were. Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, the reason I think why these just if you string a couple of results together, a lot can happen. I mean, if you look at United, they never did that. I mean, we've lost close on to 15, 18 points in this last few games. So
yeah,
you just end up leapfrogging teams if they're not bagging points. So I don't think they're playing the greatest football. Again, like I said, it's probably a couple of individuals putting in the shifts, and yeah.
Um, just going back to that Cole Palmer, like with 21 goals. United's highest goal scorer for this season in the Premier League is Bruno Fernandes with 10 goals. And I mean,
So it's double.
sorry, that says it. That's what says it all already. Like, I mean, your highest goal scorer is only on 10 goals. I think City have about 3 players higher than Bruno. That's crazy, and that shows in their goal difference. It shows in Arsenal's goal difference as well. I think Bukayo Saka 16 goals, Kai Havertz 12 goals, Trossard 12 goals. So I mean, there's so many players in other teams that are just feasting on goals
yeah,
at the end of it, and I mean that's why these teams are in those positions, and that's why Arsenal and City have such a healthy goal difference at the end of it all as well. But yeah, let's just go predictions for this final weekend. Who do you guys think are winning the league? Who gets that top 4 position, and who goes to Europa League? Jason, I'm going to start with you.
Easy one for me, isn't it? So I'm gonna go Arsenal to win the league. Yo, guys, 20 years after the last time. That's just meant to be. The top 4, I think Spurs get it because Villa lose tonight and Spurs win tomorrow. And on the last day, Spurs do a madness. And then the Europa League, I really like you guys, right? But I think it's probably going to be Newcastle and Villa. I don't want to say Chelsea, but I think, I'm going to go Newcastle, Villa to get that Europa, and then Chelsea get Conference League. I think that's correct, yeah. It's 4 Champions League, 2 Europa, and 1 Conference, yeah.
Yeah,
That's where it's at.
Yeah, I'm going to go Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Spurs. That's the top 4. And then Europa, Villa. Obviously, I mean, and then Conference, I don't know. I want to say United. Like I say, I'm always optimistic, but realistically, probably not. I'm going to give it to Newcastle. And then I think the relegation battle is what it is. Those three are down. So, yeah.
With me, I think, Arsenal. I predicted it at the starting of the season. I'm sticking to my guns. Arsenal to win the league. Spoke it into existence. If it does happen, you can thank me later, Jason. And then, I think Spurs get top 4. They go into the Champions League. Villa gets Europa. Along with Mubeen spoke earlier about this optimism. So I think I'm going to take a slice out of or a bite out of that pie, and I'm going to go for a United FA Cup win so that Villa gets spot 5, Europa League. United also get it, which means Newcastle goes into the Conference League and Chelsea gets absolutely nothing.
Shout out Saudi Khan one time. You heard it here first.
That is what I'm not. I don't think I'm predicting it. That's just what I want. Just want Chelsea to end the season with nothing. But okay, that is straight optimism. I'm going glass half full type of mentality here, thanks to Mubeen. But yeah, I think that is all for our show today. Jason, Mubeen, shout you guys for making yourself available. Jason, where can the people find you if they want to congratulate you after this title-winning season?
Yeah, at Jason _ on Twitter. You'll find me at the airport on Sunday evening because I'm going to fly over if we win. And my boss will phone me. Or where am I? You're not going to get hold of me.
The streets of London.
Yeah, find me on Twitter. That's where I'm most responsive. And then on TikTok, Jason Ronnie, _. Old Gucci.
Mubeen, where can the people find you if they want to congratulate you on the FA Cup win?
At Amco Trading. I'll be there if you need your milk and your dairy items and any.
A shameless plug, but I love it. Shout out Amco supporting us all season.
Logo's Lamy here on the screen right next to him also.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Mubeen _Ahmed. And I know I'm the only guy with Facebook, but Mubeen Ahmed on Facebook. Those are my social media accounts. So, yeah. I might be on the roof fixing the gutters at Old Trafford at the end of the season as well. So,
it's cool, man. Ineos is gonna fix everything. Have faith in the hierarchy. They're gonna fix everything. Yeah, I am at AF Parker 642 on all social media platforms, chatting sports, chatting comic books, chatting movies, chatting TV shows, everything, pop culture, you name it. I can provide some sort of context as to what's going on. And yeah, we are at Sporticos on every platform as well: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, uh, posting updates literally daily on all sports going around, NBA, the playoffs, golf, cricket, soccer. We have updates going through our channels on the daily. So yeah, if you want to stay up to date with it all, give us a follow on social media. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your brother, tell your sister, tell your dogs, friends, owners, everything. Yeah, we appreciate all the support. We appreciate all the interaction that we receive on social media, that we receive on these videos. It doesn't go unnoticed. But yeah, thank you so much from all of us here at Sportycast. I am AO4 343. And yeah, catch you guys next time.